Hello, so back in GTO Studios. Let's see if this sequel sucks or if it's worth watching.
Yeah, it's another 5 Awesome, 5 Awful today on the show. Good morning, Scallywags. Hi. How are we? Yeah, we're back in GTO. Yeah, we couldn't get Mustang back today, so that's
and
okay.
apparently you can't get the rooms for more than 4 hours, at a time.
Yeah.
So.
And we even tried to switch it from his name to mine, and they wouldn't let us do that either because it was 4 hours per group. So because there were so many other people that were wanting to use it.
There was a whole 3 other people in the library.
Pretty much, yeah.
Today.
Yeah.
So
even asked for just 1 extra hour, and they wouldn't do it. But anyway, so hey, it's cool because we got GTO back for today and tomorrow. So yeah. And if you guys remember, a little while back we did something we called 5 Awesome, 5 Awful, where we talked about Nicolas Cage movies at the time, which I think there's probably more awful than there are awesome on that list. But we only stuck with 5.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about 5 awesome and 5 awful sequels. Now there's
Nicolas Cage is in none of these.
Are you sure? I thought there was one. No?
No.
No? Maybe not?
Nope.
So
no Nicolas Cage.
So I mean, obviously there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not more, of awesome sequels, and even bad sequels. Probably more bad sequels than there are good, for that matter. That's kind of the way things go usually. But we've narrowed it down to our favorite 5. You want to kick things off?
Yeah, and some of these awful ones, they were movies that we had actually forgot existed.
Yeah.
There was...
We actually looked up a list. We were having trouble. I think we came up with 3 pretty quickly, and then we were like, well, let's just look up a list of like the worst sequels ever, and going through there, and some that I didn't know existed at all.
And there were some I had literally blocked from my memory.
Like the 3rd Crocodile Dundee movie.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. He was barely in it.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay.
So starting off with awesome.
Awesome.
Bring it on.
Probably, without a doubt, one of the most awesome sequels ever made.
Isn't it the only sequel to have won Best Picture?
It's the only sequel that I know of that has won Best Picture that the original didn't win Best Picture also.
Yeah.
Godfather 2. This was an incredible movie.
Yeah. Surprisingly, and I think we talked about this a little bit the other day, where as big of movie fans as we are, I actually watched The Godfather for the first time maybe a year ago, a little more than a year ago, year and a half, and I don't think either I didn't finish The Godfather 2 or I zoned out while it was playing.
Yeah.
But I think I remember maybe the little bits and pieces of it.
But I mean, Godfather 2 is just so expansive. It covers so much of the history of the Corleones, and just it's pretty much one of those you go to any cinephile and you ask them best sequels. Godfather 2 it is gonna be in there. Just so with that.
Yeah, there you go. Moving over to awful, Caddyshack 2. Yeah, this was just a travesty of film, and I have got an eyelash bugging the crap out of me.
Yeah,
I got it. There we go. This was nothing more than definitely one of the classic cases of cash grab.
Yeah,
for the name.
It's
where I think Chevy Chase was probably the only person that even came back for it.
Chevy Chase and the Gopher.
Which wasn't even the same Gopher.
Yeah, were the only original characters, and Chevy Chase had it in his contract that all the scenes he was in were filmed at once. So it was basically, he showed up and it was like, here's your script for your scenes. He filmed those scenes and he left.
Didn't even see the finished product until the movie premiered.
Yeah, and then he was like, dear God, what have I done?
And he, even to this day, will still trash that movie and just disavow any acknowledgement of said movie.
Yeah, he was.
No, it was now Dan Aykroyd played the groundskeeper in this one, where Bill Murray did in the first one. Now, are they supposed to be the same character?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say because I know they dress a lot alike, but they definitely don't act.
Because what it was is like Bill Murray's character, he was an actual groundskeeper, whereas
Dan Aykroyd, exterminator.
He was actually an assassin. That was hired to get rid of Jackie Mason's.
Who was playing the same character that Rodney Dangerfield played in the first.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if it's like it was the exact same character or no. It wasn't. It was a similar character.
Oh,
because Rodney Dangerfield was his last name for his character was like is a Polish name started with an R.
Man, I don't remember.
Where
I'll be honest.
Jackie Mason's character's last name was Hartunian.
I think I remember watching Caddyshack 2 once, maybe twice, when it was relatively new.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it since, so I really don't remember. I freshened up by watching the trailer, and even just watching the trailer was like, oh wow. Yeah. No.
Yeah. And Dennis Quaid is in it, and he's full psycho mode in this. He plays a lawyer, and it's just
Robert Stack was in it.
Yeah. He was
unsolved mysteries.
Yeah, he was the straight man in this.
Yeah. Well, I think he's always the straight man. Even it's weird to think of the unsolved mysteries guy like in a comedy, but like the only movies I can think of him ever doing were all comedies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Airplane, Beavis and Butthead Do America, Spy Hard. Like they're all comedies. That's weird. Yeah. I'm sure he's done other stuff. Maybe that's just all I've ever seen him in. So jumping back over to awesome, of course, no awesome sequels list would be complete without The Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
Enough said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where everything goes. It's the perfect trilogy. I mean, you set up your characters, you introduce conflict, and everything just goes to crap, and then you bring it back around. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and as far as trilogies goes, Empire has done it probably better than 90% of the other trilogies.
Because the main thing on this one that Empire Strikes Back did, that at the time, this was one of the few, if not the first movie, where for all intents and purposes, the bad guys won.
Right.
And it just...
Meh.
And it
Han gets taken a job of.
Yeah, it
Luke
shocked the
gets
hell out of people because it was like, wait a minute, no, it's.
It seems like it's like the setup to the third act, but then it just ends.
Yeah.
Because you gotta wait for the third act, and we'll just bring that to you in another movie. Which, I get a lot of flack for this a lot of the time, and I'm sure I will be putting it on camera. But my favorite of the original trilogy is Jedi. I don't mind the Ewoks for one.
Yeah.
The whole Jabba / Sarlacc thing at the very beginning of it, I think was my favorite part of the movie. The space battle at the end was just freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, and it's the
Empire is kind of boring to me.
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of people hate on the Ewoks that they were just put in there for kids, and I'm like, I mean, if you really think about it, I mean, here's a planet, and it's like these tribal.
We could make an episode out of this about the Ewoks. I mean, you're talking, tribal, cannibalistic.
Yeah.
You notice there's a lot of empty helmets at the end of that movie, but you don't see a lot of bodies laying around. And remember what the first thing they did when they met our heroes was?
Tried to cook them.
They ate them. It's a darker movie than you give it credit for.
Yeah, and it's... I mean, it's the type of thing, the Ewoks were pretty much, they were a good placeholder for, like third world rebels.
Yeah.
They were primitive, but yet their basic I mean, they were the Viet Cong of space.
Like, adorable and cuddly and all of these things, but as the kids would say, also savage AF.
Yeah.
I believe is how
yeah,
that statement works.
They went ham on the Empire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
then, of course, the Death Star exploded and Nora was probably destroyed. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah. So
yeah.
All right, and awful.
Oh.
This one, oh Lord.
Oh.
Should we sing the song? Just to put it in their head.
I apologize for this. Boom 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 boom. With 3 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 3 more days till Halloween. Silver Shamrock. Halloween 3, the season of the witch.
Yeah.
Oh dear God. Now I remember reading in Fangoria when Halloween 3 was getting ready to come out. Like I remember that they were saying they didn't want another they didn't want to have like a franchise of the same guy over and over that just can't be killed. But of course, when you think Michael Myers, he's the boogeyman. I mean, that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what people wanted on Halloween.
Instead, they wanted to just do like a series of like an anthology series of just weird crap that happens on Halloween night. And I'm sorry, but masks that turn your face into crickets and snakes and stuff, and it doesn't work. But Stonehenge, witchcraft. Yeah.
No.
You ever wonder what Stonehenge is for? It was for making masks that turn your head into snakes and crickets.
Yeah. And that was just...
That's what it's there for.
Just bad.
Yeah.
Bad movie. Bad movie.
But, jumping back over to Awesome again.
Awesome.
Now this one I think... I'm going to actually move this one to last. And there's reason. I think there's good reason for that. So instead, we're going to talk about Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Now this is
Doc Ock.
Yes, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I mean the first one was good.
It was good, yeah.
I mean even the third one. Well, we'll talk about that here in a second. But the second one just got everything right.
Yeah.
It had a great balance of, Spider-Man, Doc Ock. You got your one villain. You don't have
one
like
strong villain.
Yes, very strong villain. And this is what I think makes a perfect villain is whenever if you look at the story from his perspective, you understand what he's doing and you almost even empathize and dare I say slightly even agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not to such an extent, but you at least see where he's going with it.
Yeah. And with Doc Ock, you can't watch this movie and not be like, he's got a point. He's going about it the wrong way.
You feel bad for the guy.
The whole shorted out and
they name dropped Doctor Strange in that movie. Just saying, they did. So we're jumping back over to awful movies while we're talking about it. Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Now,
3 because it had 3 villains, and that's too many.
I don't give the same amount of flack to this movie as most people do. I think if they had simply taken Venom out. Now, I know that that originally he was not supposed to be in the movie.
Yeah.
That it was the studio saying, we want Venom in this movie, and they kind of, keyhole him in there.
Yeah, shoehorned him in.
I think that is where the movie became oversaturated. Before that, if they had just stuck with Sandman with little bits and pieces of the Green Goblin 2, although it should have been Hobgoblin, but fine, whatever. I think it would have been just fine. It wouldn't have been as good as Spider-Man 2 by any means, but it would have been good.
Yeah.
Better. We'll say, I don't know about good, but better.
Yeah.
And then they could have even introduced the black suit for it. That's fine. I mean, okay, take out the dance sequence because, let's face it, that is a meme for a good reason.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to give it some credit here, but let's face it, it was just bad.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to give us so much, and then They ended up giving us too much. Venom should have been its own movie.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
The introduction of Venom should have been the after credits scene.
Mm-hmm. Like, I would have been fine with them introducing the symbiote suit or just the black suit in this one, and then like have him strip it off, toward the end of the movie. Like after he beats Sandman, he realizes like I went over the edge here, and he rips it off, and then we see Eddie Brock, which should not have been Eric Foreman, but
no,
whatever.
Eddie Brock was big.
Yeah, and he wasn't like a little whiny brat. He was
big.
Just a big jerk.
Yeah.
But Bryce Dallas Howard was really hot in that movie.
Yeah.
So, jumping back over to awesome.
Aliens.
Yes.
Aliens.
Yes. Back when James Cameron knew how to make a movie.
Yes. James, that's how you make an aliens movie.
Yeah.
Or a movie with non-human creatures in it. That was it.
It's just movie in general. It wasn't like dropped head first into the middle of a story, 3 hours of exposition and then a big fight. Yeah. It was tense. It had action. It was scary.
Yeah.
You cared for the characters. I mean, it was great.
It kept you on the edge of your seat.
It took what the
30 at about I think like the 25-30 minute mark when they land on LV-246, and you're like, there's no people around, and then it's like, what's going on? And then the Marines get into that cooling station, and you see the bodies cocooned,
mm-hmm.
and you realize, oh crap.
And then in their first encounter with them, like half the team is gone.
Yeah, half the team is dead.
But like it took the original Alien. I mean, it was extremely suspenseful.
Yeah.
Terrifying with just one creature.
Yeah.
I mean, and Aliens took all of those things that the Alien was, and it built upon it. It didn't change it. I mean, the only real change is it went from being a sci-fi horror to an action horror, but still with a lot of sci-fi in there as well.
Yeah.
It just added action to the mix, but it did it in a way that worked. It worked really, really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Queen, and one of the greatest lines in movie history.
Yeah, which we actually referenced in
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Get away from her, you bitch. But jumping back over to awful sequels for a moment.
Oh God.
Yeah. Let's talk about a non-sentient creature with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Jaws, The Revenge. The one where he kills Sean at the beginning of the movie and then instinctively travels to the Bahamas because that's where the other brother is.
Yeah. Follows them.
Follows the family
from
across
Martha's Vineyard down the eastern seaboard into the Gulf to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I know that is a migratory pattern for great whites, but still a shark.
It was hunting the family down. It went at the same time that the mother left to go live with Michael in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And then it takes what's this guy? What's this place? Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah.
Sonny Spoons.
Yeah.
Right. Remember that show?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it full on attacks him. I mean, you see it like take him down.
Yeah.
But then he's fine. Just a few minutes later, like no cuts, no nothing.
Yeah.
Just totally fine. Michael Caine was in that movie.
Yes, as a pilot.
A schmarmy pilot that kept hitting on the Brody's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the shark explodes because they hit it with a boat.
Yeah.
What?
Suicide shark.
There's actually documentaries out there about the making of Jaws for the Revenge and like what it was supposed to be, and then what it ended up being. Thank you, studio interference again.
Yeah.
And it could have been such a good movie. It would have been a good movie. Like, even certain deleted scenes would have made it a better movie. But no. We get Exploding Shark with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's actually do the last awful before we do the last awesome.
Okay. The last awful.
The last awful is probably the worst. Oh man, I don't know. It's a pretty tough contender for Halloween 3, but at
least this one tried to redeem itself.
I don't know. I think this one actually is worse, almost in a way. Highlander 2.
Yeah, The Quickening.
Yeah, and I think it's worse because it actually took the first movie, and instead of like just doing something completely different with it, it completely contradicted the first movie.
Yeah,
and now all of a sudden we're aliens.
Yeah, we're time traveling aliens.
Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah. Now the movie's over 10 years old.
True.
So
true.
But at least then it's like, the powers that be said, no, we pissed off the fans. They're angry. We need to fix this.
So there's like different cuts of the movie.
Then they did a re-edit where it was like the whole alien thing was taken out,
swept under the rug a little,
and instead of aliens it was time travelers,
because that's better.
Which I guess slightly, instead of coming from another planet, it was just Earth future sent back into the past
for reasons,
because heresy type stuff. But they tried,
and they failed.
They acknowledged their mistake and said, "We're going to try to fix this." And
Yeah. But our last awesome movie, and the reason why we saved this one for last is because this is the perfect example of a good sequel. Because you got the first movie. This is actually it's a part 3, but you take the first movie was good. It was good. It was all right. Not anything, spectacular, but it was good.
It was what we expected.
Then the second one was kind of, you kind of missed the mark on this one.
Yeah, you're starting to slip.
But then they changed everything. Like, I mean everything. For the third movie to come out, and it was just fantastic. And that is Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, you are missing out. I mean, essentially what they did was just make Thor dumb and make it a comedy.
Yeah.
But it worked. It worked so well.
And there were so many beautiful interactions with this between Thor and the... Oh my God. So
Thor
many scenes between Thor and Hulk. Hulk. There's this Hulk and Loki.
My favorite part of that whole movie was when Surtur comes up. Spoilers here. Yeah. When Surtur finally comes up to destroy Asgard at the end of it, and Hulk goes and starts attacking him, and everybody's like, "No, Hulk, stop! Big monster!"
A big monster.
He's like, "Come on, this is what we do."
Yeah.
It was funny. And most of that movie was actually improv, which is the
75% of that movie, the lines were actually ad lib.
And one of the best lines of the whole movie actually came from a child. There was a Make-A-Wish kid, the kid that had gone through Make-A-Wish Foundation and got to spend a day on the set, and it was the scene where Thor and Hulk are about to fight in the arena, and the kid said, "Hey, you should say I know him from work." And they were like, "Oh well," and they actually said, "Okay, well we'll shoot it,
that just for the kid."
Yeah, and then we'll go back and shoot the scene the way it was actually supposed to be. But it worked so well, and everybody laughed so hard that is the take that made it into the movie.
We're like, no, we're keeping that.
Yeah.
And it was, and then there was so many, the Loki Doctor Strange interaction.
Oh, God, yeah.
God, that was hilarious. And then there is a deleted scene, and why this scene was deleted, I have no idea, because it was magnificent, between Thor and Doctor Strange, where it's like he gives him, he's like, "Oh, here, I need a piece of your hair to do this spell." And Thor's like, nobody messes with the hair. And Doctor Strange just appears behind him, plucks a hair.
They put that back in the DVD release.
Yeah, and the map, and it's like, okay, your father is here. And Thor's like, okay, what's that glowing green dot? Oh, that's your brother. Oh, you're going to need that to get him. And Thor's like, key.
Oh, that part.
Yeah. And then just and it's like, and then of course, one of the, and then also one of the famous questions of all times is actually answered in this scene. And the question was, a cross-genre thing here, is could a Jedi use the Force to pick up Mjolnir? That's actually answered because Thor is there, and Mjolnir is in umbrella form, and he looks at Doctor Strange and kind of glances over at the umbrella and says, "Aren't you going to magic that over to me?" And Doctor Strange just kind of smirks and is like, "I think we both know I can't do that." So it's like, Doctor Strange can't use magic to move the hammer.
But I disagree. But being a Jedi is totally different than that. And a Jedi being pure of heart and all of that fun stuff technically should be worthy of.
If the Jedi was pure of heart, then yes, I could see it. But just like an average Force user,
Groot can lift it.
Well, that Groot because it's Groot.
I know Groot's worthy. Even teenage Groot, where he was like a little foul mouth.
But he was still pure of heart.
Yeah.
Sacrificed his arm to make Stormbreaker.
Yeah, I know, right? So there you go, guys. Yeah. What's your favorite or your most awful sequel that we didn't talk about? Put it down in the comments below. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yeah. And while you're there on the YouTubes watching this, do the subscribe, the bell, and share the gospel of the show, and staying down on the street corner, right the show.
Yeah, or you can get yourself a T-shirt because it's got the address on the back of the T-shirts.
Yeah,
you can get that right there on our Facebook page. Just and it's a private message letting us know what size you want, what colors you would like. That's color of the shirt, color of the text itself. Short sleeve shirts are $20. Long sleeve are $22. Or you can go ahead and pick up one of our hoodies for $25. Comment, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys back here tomorrow.
Bye. Hey, this is Chad from Springfield Mo, and here's your Russian clip of the day.
Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you liked what you see, go ahead and click on our faces to go ahead and subscribe to get all of our Monday through Friday stuff.
Indeed, and here's a couple of links down below that you can follow to watch more shows like it. Tons of great content right here at Scallywag Productions. We'll see you tomorrow.